specifically vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
What is up, nerds? It is me, your buddy, your pal, HeyArcher. Welcome back to my channel for a special bonus live episode today. In the house, we have a very, very special guest. Let me just make sure my screens are all aligned, because as you are very well familiar with, there's always a technical error on the show, and there's one happening right now, but it's fine. We'll make do. We'll get through it. But we will get this going. There's a weird thing on my TV, but it's fine. We'll keep going with that too. So if you are new here on HeyArcher Live, this is actually your show. So we will talk all things nerdy, as that is what we normally talk about. But based on what you throw in the comments, we of course will steer the show wherever you want it to go. Now, this is the first time that we're doing a guest that you have all not seen before. So of course, in the comment section, as the conversation goes, leave those comments and I'll ask them as the show progresses. But once again, thank you all for being here on a very special Sunday night episode of HeyArcher. But you know what? We're going to just roll into the guest today. I found him actually through a mutual friend who was promoting his stuff on their Instagram. And randomly one day I turned on Instagram. It's not random actually, because we all watch Instagram way too much. I was in probably my 200th time in Instagram and saw a live going on with this gentleman. And all of a sudden I was like, hey, you know, let me take a look and see what's going on there. And sure enough, the speech that I heard, the live that I heard, I was like, I need to have this man on the show. So, ladies and gentlemen of HeyArcher, today we have Grind Legacy in the house. Welcome, welcome, welcome. By the way, at the moment, they're seeing you. So you're live now on the show.
Appreciate it, Mr. HeyArcher. Fans, everyone. Hey, thank you for allowing me in this circle. First off, the intro was phenomenal. Nostalgia, nostalgic even. So I'm just happy to be here, man. I appreciate you having me on. Like I said, man, you know, we're going to talk about different things, but like you said, whichever way it goes, man. Like I say, we can get into what I'm all about, but dude, I'm just happy to be here.
No, I love it. And it's one of those where I always like talking to people like yourself who run a brand, because I struggle daily to figure out what this brand is. So we'll definitely kind of cover that, because you're so much further ahead than I am.
Right.
But I always say here on the show, or I always ask, since you are new to the show and new to the audience, what was the first thing or the first obsession you had that put you in the nerd category? It could be a show, it could be a comic, it could be whatever you want.
Wow. Let's see. Well, trying to go back, man, over the many moons. It was a combination of things, man. I grew up in the early 90s, late 80s.
Yep.
So Saturday cartoons were real big for me. So that meant, you know, I'm sorry about that noise.
No, you're good.
But no, so I grew up with the Voltrons, man, the Gundam, and it's so funny because I talk about these shows and people look at me as if they have no clue what I'm talking about. So Archie, I'm gonna put you on the spot a little bit here, starting off.
Hang on. Before you jump on that, just to let you know, there is a special guest that just popped in. It is our good friend. Oh, it's not showing up on the screen. See, technical error. Hang on, let's see. Why did that not work? Let's see. There he is, Mike Yeager, saying, "What's up, fellas?"
What's going on, Mike?
He's in the chat right now.
This is going to be good.
Hell yeah. I don't know why they didn't pop up initially, but all right. So you want to put me on the spot. So what do you got?
So obviously, it's no secret that He-Man and Thundercats was like a little boy's dream in the late 80s, early 90s, along with Ninja Turtles, right?
Yep.
But I used to watch this TV show called Brave Star. Do you remember that?
Brave Star.
Oh, not you too, man.
That one's not ringing a bell, but you have to tell me about it now.
Right. So another one was, do you remember the show? It only aired for 1 year, one season, but Turbo Teen. Do you remember that?
Like teenager?
Yeah. So
you stumped me twice.
Good
that
deal,
never
good
happens.
Deal. Hey, this is going to be awesome.
I love it.
With Brave Star, it was based on a character of Western Indian descent,
okay,
right? And he was a sheriff of this town or planet called New Texas, right?
Okay.
But check it out. I know, and stay with me.
Yeah.
So what it is his kind of sort of his power was he was able to call upon like the power of the tiger or the power of it almost had like a Beastmaster type theme to it.
See, I know,
right?
That's a good callback. That's a good callback.
Right.
Yeah.
So he could call upon these powers and things, and but the thing is, man, the best part of the show was his sidekick. So, like any other superhero, he walks around mild-mannered as just a sheriff.
Uh-huh.
But he does this whole thing kind of like He-Man, but he's like, Brave Star. It's just kind of like his calling to his power.
Yeah.
But his horse turns into his sidekick.
What?
Right? And he stands up and he has like a double-barrel shotgun, and he's like this.
The horse?
Tear it up. Yes. So, do me a favor and look it up, bro. It used to be one of my favorite shows to watch, man. And Turbo Teen, not as exciting, but it was about this kid that was, I think he was riding in this, like a Corvette. And it's so funny because you look back on these things now and you're like, man, how did I watch this?
Yeah.
But he's drives off a cliff and falls right into a scientific lab.
Of course he did.
While experiments, right?
Yeah.
While his experiment is going on.
Yeah.
But what happens is during that experiment, he fuses with his car.
Now that's coming back.
Right. So every time, I think when he would get wet or something like that, he would transform into a car and kind of do his thing. But it's funny, man. But that's probably my first moments, man, of like nerdism. I had all the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
I had the handheld wrestlers.
Yep.
Man, I was a big fan of Thundercats, man. The Centurions. I don't know if you remember that.
Power Extreme.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love that show.
But man, but I tell you what, the one that probably made the biggest impact is probably the earlier X-Men.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of like my bread and butter. Like,
yeah,
all else fails, I turn on and watch that. It didn't evolve to Dragon Ball Z, and things like that, man. But it was awesome. That's my first exposure, man. That's how I knew I was different.
Well played.
Right.
I made back when I started this channel. It was actually, I forget now. It might have been like 4 years ago when I started this channel. I had YouTube in the past where I would upload like me, longboarding in New York City, or I posted a video the other day because I always forget that old channel existed, and I posted like back when I used to play music. I posted a couple videos on there, all very crappy. And if anybody wants to go and watch me in my very first like concert, be ready to boo. That will happen.
Right.
So I made this channel, and that's when I kind of was like, all right, this is going to be fitness related. And then it just went nerd real fast. And I did a video on like the top 5 shows that I think should be remade into like either movies or TV shows.
I know Thundercats was number one.
No, Thundercats was not, because they keep messing it up. And at that point, I think at that point they had come out with the new show that they were still like adults. It wasn't like that new Kitty one they have.
Right.
So they were already doing that, and I was like, oh, they keep messing it up. Centurions was on the list. Centurions was on that list because I said it would have to be heavy CGI, which would be an issue.
Yeah.
But
it'd be almost like a Pacific Rim kind of.
Yes. But they'd have to up it because these, you need to have the, Skynet shoot down a laser, hit these dudes, have some super cool transformation. But the thing that sells is they're just wrecking, robots the entire time. So it's pretty easy, and you can have lots of destruction without people being like, oh, there's too much murder or something, because it's all robots that they're killing.
Right.
Also on that list was Power Rangers, and that was before they made that last movie.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, Did you see? Well, I'm a really big fan of the, I guess you could say the fan trailers.
The fan movie.
And and that was pretty cool.
Yeah. That's what we need.
Yeah.
That's the kind of movie we need.
Yeah.
So
That's
I had
a nice list, man.
Oh yeah, you had that. You had, like I said, Centurions. I had Mighty Max on there. You remember that?
Okay. Yep.
So I had Mighty Max. I thought that one would be the movie that like kids could relate to. And then I also had on Savage Dragon. I thought.
I don't think I.
Ooh, that's a good one. Savage Dragon was on. Oh, what's up, April? April's in the house, also watching. Good to see you. April actually has her own YouTube channel, and I love her channel because she has a child that has autism and runs a channel that focuses on helping other people raise kids and raise families. So it's just one of those like kind of special channels. Like you're watching the dialogue, and she'll have people come on as guests and stuff. So even if like I don't have kids, but I still watch it because I always say it's interesting to see like the other, like another group and another like subset of YouTube that I don't know anything about, and just learn about people who are so passionate about it.
Awesome.
So yeah, always props to April for stopping in.
Good deal. How's it going, April?
She says hello. I got to figure out how to get the guests to see the comments too. I'll work on that. So Savage Dragon was on USA Network, and that was when USA Network was like, for a short period of time, they're like, we're gonna push like kids TV shows. So they had the Street Fighter series, they had a Mortal Kombat series, they had Savage Dragon, they had Tattoo Teenage. No, that wasn't them. There was another cartoon they had on there, and the premise of the show was in Chicago, a science lab, of course. Like blew up or something. It always starts there. It blew up and gave all these humans like super meta powers. Static Shock, same concept as far as how people got their powers. And what happens is the cops are getting like overrun by all these meta human characters. And it's less like X-Men where you have powers and like you look human. They're straight up all look like animals and whatever. And they all of a sudden, the cops or this one lady, she finds this guy in the street. He's all green, super jacked. He looks like, because this is again the 90s, so he looks like an upside down triangle. It's just all traps, no calves. And so she sees this guy in the street, like butt naked, all green with a fin on his head. And they're like, who are you? Do you need help? He has no idea who he is. And they're just like, well, do you want to be a cop? And he's like, okay. So Savage Dragon.
Did some cool shades?
Yeah.
Did he have cool shades on?
Yeah.
I remember that.
Yeah.
It's coming back.
Just a random green dude who's a cop, like for no reason. But
give him a gun, guys.
Yeah. They're like, yeah, he's good. So the coolest thing though, that it did happen in the show, but I remember because back in the day when you wanted to find out something, like you're like, hoping your parents aren't on the phone so you can go on the computer and like use your dial-up and do whatever. And I came across that it was actually a comic book first. And I think at that point was like on its like final leg. And he dies in the comic, but in the final battle that he's doing with whoever it is, he's losing and he needs a weapon and his arm is broken. So he goes and rips off his arm and uses it to, to like beat whoever the person is. And my like 8-year-old brain was like, this is the coolest thing I've ever seen in my life. I'm watching this show.
Hey, that's a way to go out if you're going to go out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, man, look, since we're on this topic,
Yeah.
do you remember Wildcats?
Hell yeah, I remember Wildcats.
Bro,
That
it was like X-Men, but not X-Men.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, by the way, April says, do you want I would call you by name, but HeyArcher doesn't want us to know who you are. So if you like, you can tell everybody your government name, as they say.
Oh, Dwight Womack. That's no problem. No problem.
There you go, April. Meet Dwight. And then we also have another viewer in the house, the travel tourist. Good to see you. Oh, and another friend has dropped in, Aaron Waller, friend of the channel. So, by the way, a lot of the people who are in it right now, we're all part of this thing, and then we'll get back to Wildcats because I have to talk about that. They are all part of this other YouTube channel that I watch by this guy called Pat Flynn, and he helps people create YouTube channels, but also like just create an online business. And he calls his online stream the income stream. And what happened was quarantine hit, COVID hit, and he was like, all right, I'll just do a week worth of live episodes, and every day people can come in and do Q&A. He's now gone 80, I think the last one was 87 days now he's been doing it. And all of us, like all these people we were all strangers, we all watch this every day and we interact in the chat, kind of like how people are doing now. And now like we all kind of like support each other and go to each other's streams and do all that stuff. So that's where some of the friends who are watching now are from. But all right, so Wildcats.
The nerd community. I love it, man.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't think you understand how excited I am about this whole deal, bro. For someone to be on the same page when I'm saying these names, these shows, and it's awesome. Yeah. It's awesome, bro.
Well, you know, it's funny. One of the things that comes up on that stream, and, you know, because you mentioned you want to start YouTube at some point, so we can talk about that too. One of the things that's come up is when people tune in for a live stream, whether it's Instagram or YouTube, it's less about the content, and eventually it morphs into more about you, and it's people buying into you. So even as far as the nerd thing goes, some people in the comments now will have no idea what we're talking about the entire show. But we all kind of still gather around the connections that we build. And that's what brings in a lot of the fan base. So you'll start to see that over time.
Perfect. Nice.
Oh yeah, so let's walk through Wildcats real quick.
So yeah, man, I got exposed to Wildcats, man, and to me the best part of it was the intro, you know, and but I just like the whole thing. I don't know what it is about the whole mutant deal. Like I was like X-Men, Wildcats. What else can I think of? It was another show that's slipping my mind, but it was about he wasn't a mutant, but it was about a police officer, African American descent. He used to wear glasses, had this enhanced jawline, but he was I guess he was.
Is this a cartoon?
On a stakeout or something. Yeah. Okay. He was on a stakeout or something, and something happened where he got hurt real bad, went to the hospital, and it was almost like a Bionic Man type deal. They had to rebuild him. Yep. And but he came back as like a chief officer, but part machine, part man. I can't call it right now, man. But anyhow, I've just been drawn to that type of animation, bro. Like it's it's always been a big part of everything I watched.
If anybody in the comments knows the show that we're talking about, please put that in there, because I'm starting to kind of get that in my head too. For a second, that's why I asked if it was cartoon, because for a second there I thought you were talking about Mantis. If you remember that live action show.
Yeah, I do, and I used to watch that a lot.
Yeah. So for a second I thought that's what you were talking about.
He got paralyzed, and the suit helped him walk. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
And hey, nobody's gonna think you're a superhero if you're in a wheelchair, but yet the superhero's always running.
Right. Look, it's so funny, something ironic. So I don't know if it was fan made or I was watching this Batman deal on YouTube, and he was walking with a cane, and it has some validity because we know if we watch all the movies, his body gets so broken to where his suit kind of enhances, which probably kind of plays into the whole Batman Beyond type deal.
Right.
I know it's a whole other lineage or whatever, but I was watching that, and he was walking by, and the suit, like he was going in Alfred's room to get his suit, but he couldn't walk. You know, he was with a cane, but he put the suit on. He was able to fight, and I think he met Bane, and Bane like broke both his legs and just left him hanging. Like I was like, this is not Batman. So I was like, I don't know if this is fan made or what, because I know in the past Bane broke his back,
right?
But he came back from that. But this was way in left field what I was watching. So.
Yeah, that's probably fan made. I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, so we got a question in here. So April is asking, what are some of your other passions besides what you share on your channel? So I primarily share nerd stuff. So I will pose the question to you as well as to what are some of your other passions aside from the nerd stuff. And of course, that could lead us into what it is you do, of course. So great question.
Well, April, thanks for the perfect segue because we're talking about two nerds.
She brought us back in.
So, April, it's so funny that you say that because while, Archer is, basically, explaining what it is that you do on your channel, that is what Grind Legacy is all about. So at Grind Legacy, what we like to do is we're big believers in is changing our atmosphere, changing our surroundings by 4 principles. That's educating yourself on a topic, that's executing the plan, enduring the process, and empowering others. And everything that we do is legacy driven. So if it's, you creating that page and being able to pour into your son and other people of the community like your son, that's what we're all about. So 4 things happen for you to do that. So you may have not had prior experience creating a YouTube page, or when you found out that your son had autism, all the things that you had to learn to be able to support your son. There was an education aspect. There was a execution. I have to put this in place to have the best atmosphere for my son. And there was a point of endurement. I know there's been several times where you've been in a spotlight, man, I don't know how I'm able to do this. I got to get to work. I got to do this. I got to do that. But when everything comes full circle, now you're empowering other mothers, other fathers, other people with children with special needs to spread the word, to push it forward, in the community. So that is what Ground Legacy is all about. For me, it took a different road just because of personal things I went through in my life, through layoffs, jobs, deaths. I lost my brother, my father, in like a short period of time. And it molded me or created Grind Legacy by me coming to the conclusion that I want to be able to, the reason I want to do all this for my kids is to be able to push the legacy forward. And then it kind of evolved, April. It kind of went from what can I do for them, or what can I do for my peers? What can I do for whoever's watching? If I can be a beacon or a light to anybody that can say, hey man, I can't do it. Or example, I come from a single parent home. My mom was in a wheelchair, had me from a wheelchair. She was paralyzed since she was 17. I can give you every excuse in the book to why I shouldn't be successful. But through me seeing what she did as a single parent, raising me and my brother from a wheelchair, government assistance, the commodity box, the white box of cereal, the block of cheese, and your 2 gallons of milk. Me and Archer talked about this earlier. I feel convicted to put something out there or some type of avenue to speak to what I went through and how can I help others. So when you think of Grind Legacy, it's whatever you're willing to do to provide for your family or those who are watching, and legacy is self-explanatory. What are you leaving once that's done? So, but yeah, that's what I like to do on my page. That's what we talk about, empowerment. Yeah.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila,
Dude.
more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
I don't think there's enough like cheers I can give you or that's the mic drop. Like if I could just roll fucking like my exit right now.
Credits.
Yeah. Cause hang on, before I give my 2 cents, right? I'll just go, cause we had some stuff pop up as you were telling that. So April says, I hear you on that. I had both my parents battling cancer at the same time in 2017, 2018. My mom ended up dying in May of 2018. Aaron says, I love the principles and the mercy is amazing. Going to have to get my credit card ready. and then he put an asterisk merch. And then April, of course,
all the support.
Yeah. And April asks your name again, if you want to just say it to her.
Dwight.
And then she goes, awesome. I'll definitely have to check out the page. Love your passion and your heart. Thank you for sharing.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Thanks.
So yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's you had every reason to not succeed. Like you had every reason to just say, and sorry I use profanity sometimes on the show, but you had every reason to just fuck off and say like, I'm done. Like life has screwed me so many times. I'm good here. Like I'll just do blank, insert whatever bad habit or whatnot that it is. But the fact that like you're like these are not going to define me. Like these struggles, they'll define my hustle and they'll define my passion towards what I decide to do, but they won't define who I end up being in a negative way. If that makes sense.
Right. Right.
And that's the kind of thing where I think for a lot of us that are even here watching, either live or on the replay, who make content or even like run a business or whatever it may be, like at a certain point, legacy is everything. And it's like, I'm convicted to try to make some sort of change, some sort of difference, to then create that legacy. But after a certain point, when you're doing that, it's almost like the legacy happens without you intentionally forcing it. It's by you helping people. It's by you motivating people. That people just say like, hey, like, if you need a little pick me up, if there's that day you're just feeling down, if there's that whatever, like here, go listen to Dwight for a second or hit up Dwight, like talk to him, like that's the kind of thing that just happens organically over time. And even you like having your own brand and like you got a big billboard behind you on the thing. Like it's one of those, like, you were just like, no, like I'm not gonna eat the sandwich that life gave me because it's full of shit. I'm gonna just do my own thing. So I give you so much credit for that.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate it. And it's so funny that you say that because you're absolutely right. I can give you, like I said, my mom, unfortunately, she became a paraplegic, at the age of 17, man. And I lost her at a young age. She passed away when I was 10 years old. Massive heart attack. And that's a whole nother story for another show. But the Cliff Note version is I went to, as a 10-year-old, I went to this after-school tutoring program, came home, and my front door was kicked open, had the whole, it was almost like a scene out of The Resident or was one of the medical shows, man. But they had the deals where they revive you all over the floor.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what was going on, bro. And I just remember my cousin. He's older than I am, by a few years. But he pulled up and took me to, where my mom was. She was at the hospital. And as a 10-year-old, I'm like, I have no clue what's happening right now. And long story short, man, we get to the hospital. My mom has passed away. Immediately, as a 10-year-old, man, I was thinking of some things that 10-year-olds shouldn't think about, because it's always been me and her.
Yeah.
So it was one of those deals like, if you take her, you got to take me too.
Yeah.
10-year-olds shouldn't be thinking like that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to tell you, Archer, we hear I know we hear the analogy, it takes a village,
yeah,
to raise a child. Man, that thing hit action real quick. So I went with my aunt, family members gathered around, and it's like, hey, look, we got to make sure he succeeds. Now, what that means is, if I wanted to ride to see my grandmother, or prom was coming up, and versus me talking to my mom, I had 15 aunts and uncles I could talk to, hey, look, I need some help with prom or something like that.
Right.
But, man, I have a story, bro, that I'm proud of, the way I can share it with somebody. I use the analogy, and this is not to get all biblical or anything like that, Archer, but there's a parable that talks about feeding the multitudes when, and during that time, in order to feed the multitudes, you had to break the bread, right? That Jesus had 2 loaves, 5 fish. I don't know it verbatim.
You're pretty close. I think that I think that might be exactly it.
Right. But what I look at in my life is me. Well, when he fed the multitudes, he couldn't feed them until he broke the bread, right? That's what America was. When I broke it and just started handing out pieces, and at the end of the day, 5,000 people were fed. I look at myself as the bread. I have to be broken in certain areas to be able to feed other people. So I can speak exactly to somebody losing their mom. I can speak exactly to somebody creating a brand. I can speak to being an African-American. I can speak to what it means to lose a dad to cancer. I can speak to being a husband. I can speak to all these things, but until you are broken or molded in those areas, it's kind of like, where do you get your information from? Google.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it goes a long way when you can use that as a reference. Not because I hate my upbringing or anything like that. I mean, growing up in South Baton Rouge, which is where I'm from, Louisiana. Man, I grew up in all the worst parts of Baton Rouge.
Yeah.
All of them. I seen at an early age people shot, stabbed. I seen it all.
Yeah.
Bullies. Archie, you probably remember this. Remember starter jackets were real popular,
yeah.
not just at Walmart.
Yeah.
Man, I seen several guys get beat up, their starter jackets taken. We talk about Jordans, man. Jordans were dangerous in the early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's going on? Yeah. But no, man, it's just, I see things like that. And it makes me feel good to be able to speak to it in a platform like this, that you're allowing me to speak about it, man. But I don't want any doom and gloom. But that's what Ground Legacy is all about. If you guys are interested, check out the Instagram page. I'll be working with my guy Archer here, man. Hopefully get you guys a YouTube and just, join the community of you guys, man, because I dig it.
Yeah, it's I don't think I've ever heard an analogy that was so on the money about the breaking the bread and giving out the fish. And it's like, but we don't have enough bread and we don't have enough fish. And he's like, don't worry, I got it. And you just keep on going. Right. Just keep on going.
Right.
Yeah. And that's, it's funny with the, and then I got some comments to read to you as well. But
okay.
When you brought up how before the show started, we were kind of talking and, you're like, what made you create this channel? And you use the word conviction, which is the word that I've been using a lot lately. And it's one of those where, there's been a lot of times where, you're sitting there and you know this because you have a brand that kind of plays to it, but it's like you're sitting there and you're just like, Like I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing right now. And a lot of times, like, people usually hear that from a parent where it's like, hey, you're playing games right now, but you should be doing your math homework. And you're like, whatever. But sometimes it doesn't happen to everybody, but it happens from time to time where all of a sudden it's your gut that's telling you that. And your gut is the one that's like, hey, you're currently doing blank and you should be doing this. And you try to shut it up and you're like, get out of here. You know what you're talking about. Because you're not even real. Like you're a figment of my imagination. But it keeps like eating at you and keeps digging at you. And it keeps going and keeps going. And for me, that's what sparked all of this. It was same concept where I was like, I wanted to show people that you can do this. Like this, like if there's something you want to say, if there's something like in your heart that you want to share, right? Even if you change one person, like if there's that one person who just like watches and is just like, wow, like you're like me too. You've done your job. Like that's all that you should go for, personally. Yeah. And I think you think the same way. But that's what sparked this whole thing. I was just like, I created the channel because I was like, I feel like I'm supposed to. And when I would watch, I like the merch, for example, like I would watch Louis Vuitton. Like I walk past the store every day for work because I work in a mall. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, why, people hunt all day and hustle all day to spend so much money to go to the Louis Vuitton store to feel like they've accomplished something. But you're rocking somebody else's stuff and you feel like you have to earn the right to do that. And I was like, you can also just do your own thing. Like you can also make your own clothes. You can make your own channel. Right. You can make your own TV show. You're like, I can't find a TV show or a podcast that matches to what I align with. You can do it. Like you can just make whatever you want. The vision is yours, and it's up to you if you want to cash in on that vision.
Right. And that's the special time, that's the special time we're in right now because, you're not pigeonholed to, I guess you could say certain standards are being filtered. I mean, you can get it between YouTube, social media. I mean, you can get your opinion out. And I guess, I don't know if that's a gift and a curse, but I look at it as a gift, just like you do, so yeah, kudos, bro. Kudos.
Yeah. So I'll go through some of the comments real quick that have been coming through as you were dropping your gems on here. Again, I feel like everything that you said needs to be like a shirt. That's essentially where I'm at right now.
Hey, that's the next deal. So
there you go. So Mr. Mike Yeager, proud to represent Grind Legacy Brands. His story is inspiring. April was asking about your Facebook page, but she found it already, so she's good on that. She's good on that. All right. And Aaron says that he's looking forward to representing. That you're very inspirational. But
appreciate it, bro.
But a challenge has been thrown down. So let's read that.
Uh-oh.
Let's see. I mean, you come in here to help everybody, and they're throwing challenges at you. That's what we do. That's what we do on HeyArcher. By the way, a bunch of you have.
I'm a pretty big guy.
There you go.
So I can handle it.
A bunch of you have jumped in since we started the show. Again, thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, please comment, join the conversation, and of course, check out Grind Legacy on Instagram and Facebook. There is an underscore in between the grind and the legacy. I feel like I should have come up with something catchy to say with that. I'll think of something. All right, so April wrote, checked out Dwight's page, but I'm issuing him a challenge to do more videos centered around his experiences. The world needs more Dwight. What is God calling you to do, Dwight?
Oh, April.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
Yeah, because Aaron also doubled up on that one and said that he seconds that challenge.
10-4. 10-4.
Let's see.
I accept it. Hey, man, look, I'm all about growth. So, and it's funny because I don't have it on here, but I started speaking in public.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry for the noise, guys.
There you
But
go.
started speaking in public, man, just around these things, because I think people need to hear it, and
Yeah.
just to know they're not by themselves, So challenge accepted. Challenge accepted.
Yeah. April jumped in with both of you. If you're ever in need of others to join in on a roundtable talk discussion about life or personal growth, count me in. Adore you both. She wrote this discussion.
That's right, April. Hey, we want to make. Hopefully, we make this a thing, April. So, a reoccurring deal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This discussion you both are having right now, I would love to see you have more discussions like this. You both are destined for great things, and I'm challenging you both to explore. You have powerful things to speak out on, and others need to hear from you. And April also apologized. She says, I type too much. I am never at a loss for words. But no, that's what we need. We need people to
Exactly.
express themselves.
Right.
Oh, and then Aaron writes, it's funny that he says he started speaking in public because I thought, sorry, my vision failure, because I thought he would do very well with that. And he's saying you should start a YouTube channel. So there you go. There's your cosign.
Nice. 10-4.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
Because it's funny too, because you almost have done you've almost built you're supposed to build your foundation and then build the house above it on the strong foundation. Let me, being the fat kid that I am, you got to build the cake to then have the icing on the cake. Now,
Right.
By you already having your brand, your merch, your website, all that stuff, you've essentially made like a super bomb-ass icing. And because you've established what the brand is, what the brand represents, and who you are, you've also essentially made the cake batter. And you've already got it in the oven because you already shared this message on Instagram. You have it on Facebook. By making the YouTube channel, at this point, because you have so much already built or baked, all you gotta do is take it out of the oven.
Mm-hmm.
I think for you, you're at that stage where all you're doing is taking it out the oven, and then it's just gonna go.
Appreciate it, bro.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm always happy to help you with your channel. Shameless plug. I have lots of videos on content creation on my channel. So if you ever are like, hey, I want to figure out how to do X, Y, and Z, I might already have a video on it, but you also have the number to the bat line. So you just hit me up, and then we do that. Let's see here. April.
I like that number to the bat line.
To the bat line.
Red phone.
I had to bring it back in.
Nice. Hey, look, watch this.
Oh yeah, you had some stuff.
Going next. I don't know where we're going next.
Wait, a Superman comic with Batman on the cover. Explain it.
So this comic here is called Speeding Bullets, and what it is if Clark Kent was born in Gotham versus Smallville or Kansas, so does he still become the Batman, or whatever? But I won't spoil it. But it's a good one. I'm a Batman fan, and got another one for you.
Classic. Is that the first one?
And this is 2 of 3.
Got it. But that's the first. That's the first time
they.
they.
This is a series.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And you probably already know what's the next one.
Yeah.
So, I'm not only playing a nerd on TV, but I'm also a part of the club. Yeah.
Yep. So I was already going to bring Aaron into the conversation, but he's already jumped in. And by the way, April also wrote, in a world full of division and toxicity, we need more positive voices So listening to you both speak is a refreshing change. Yeah,
Yeah.
And she also says that she's already subscribed to your channel that doesn't exist. Aaron has said the same as well. So they're both
Nice.
they are ready to hit subscribe.
Hey, let's go.
Yeah.
Let's go. Like I say, challenge accepted.
Yeah.
Challenge accepted.
So Aaron writes,
Yeah.
I believe that's an issue where Clark is Batman because he was adopted by the Waynes or something along those lines.
That is perfect. That is exactly it.
Yeah.
That is exactly it.
So
And he doesn't realize his powers till like later.
yeah.
You know. So.
Well, they so Aaron also runs a YouTube channel, and on Aaron's channel, he also, like myself, does a lot of conversation on movies and comics and TV shows, more so with him on the TVs and movies. And one of the things that we were both excited for was Superman Red Son. Did you ever read that or watch the movie?
Now I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I like the concept. I like the whole deal.
Yeah.
But I hadn't seen like the if anything new has coming out. I hadn't seen that yet. But I know the premise behind it.
Yeah.
So.
No, it's a so one of the things like Aaron and I are consistently bashing DC because DC like continues to like DC Comics, like their animated movies are really good, and their live action movies keep sucking.
Not so much.
Yeah. Side note, other shameless plug, Stargirl. I'm reviewing that right now on my channel. It's really good. Like I don't know where
Serious?
Stargirl is actually good.
Yeah.
But all the
Good
live
deal.
action stuff generally.
Is that on? Is that on Amazon Prime?
It's
where's
on
Stargirl?
Stargirl is on their DC Universe app.
Okay.
It might be on HBO Max. I'm not sure because even they don't know what's going on with
That's
their.
where I've seen it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also CW11. I think they
Yeah.
might have started that already. But we always talk about how their animated stuff is better and whatnot. So they released an animated movie to go along with the comic Red Son, which is, for those of you who don't know, what would have happened if Superman landed in the Soviet Union versus landed in Smallville. So between Aaron and myself, we are both fans of that whole, like, the alternate universe stories. So I have not read that one, but I will look that one up for sure because I have heard people mention Speeding Bullets.
Yeah, it's good.
Yep.
Kind of a little bit of a segue is, have you ever seen Brightburn?
I have not. Aaron, write in the comments if you've reviewed that already. I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure you've mentioned it. I've not, and I feel like everybody I know who likes superhero stuff has watched it. I seem to be the only one who has not. Did you like it?
Yeah, to me it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad for what they were trying to do. But the only thing I could think of is if Superman went rogue,
Right.
what it looked like.
Right.
And that's exactly what it was. But they did not pull any punches in that
Yeah.
movie, man. As far because he can fly, he has the laser vision, he's super strong. But they never called him Superman or Kal-El.
Right.
So, but it was good. It was good.
Oh, Mike actually writes in here. Mike says he's loving Stargirl. And Mr. Mike, I believe you hated the first episode of Stargirl, so I'm shocked. It's funny. It's funny. I won't name drop the company I work for. But I will say that Mike also hated my company when he was first introduced and is a big fan now. So I'm seeing a similar
Nice.
pattern here, Mr. Mike Yeager.
Conversions.
Aaron says that he has not, but it's first on his list. He's been meaning to watch it as well. All right. So, hey, you know what? So Aaron and I, we both do reviews on our channels of stuff. I do a 2-minute review series, and Aaron does more in-depth reviews. So that's an idea for you too. Like what I like about the process of creating a YouTube channel is you're going to try a lot of different things. And I think it's always good to do that. Like there's going to be things that are easy to make, and for everybody it's different what it is. for example, April does live videos. Like April's like, that's her jam, live videos. I'm starting to do live videos more often. Like it's just something that it's just natural. Before, for me, it used to be more natural to do one video a week that I record 3 days worth of stuff, and then I put it together to do one video. So you'll start to find that there's certain things that like get easy for you to do and more natural to do. But I always encourage stepping outside that comfort zone and trying something different. To add that variety in your channel, I think you can do some nerd reviews as well on your channel.
Yeah, because transparency sells. I mean, people don't want to, I'm not going to say a fraud, but they want realness.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah. And that's ingrained in me. Like I said, comic books, sports.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about basketball, football, 80s cartoons, man. I don't even look. I'm going back now. Do you remember like Power to Dark Water and all those shows?
Never finished it. They never finished it. That's always been the thing. They never finished it.
Right. But no, man, you're absolutely right. So like notes are being taken right now. Yeah. So yeah.
And even like, and Mike admits that he has hated things and has all of a sudden turned around on them.
Right.
So, oh, and by the way, everybody watching, again, like, comment, subscribe. When I say comment, that's because I want you part of the conversation, not just to say it. But also, again, check out our guests. I pointed the wrong way. Grind Legacy, visiting us here. Check out his Instagram. But also Mike Yeager. He is a fitness photographer. Awesome work. Check him out on Instagram. In the comment section right now, Aaron Waller, awesome video content. April, also awesome video content. We also had the travel tourist jump in a couple minutes ago. Awesome content creator as well. So that's the other thing I love about it is that everybody who's like in here, all content creators of some sort. And that's where as you make content that steps outside of what people may know you for, you also bring in different audiences. So, for example, I randomly one day was like, I'm going to unbox Chuck Taylor's. Like, I have no...
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that one.
And I had no desire when I created any of this to say, I want to make Chuck Taylor videos. But I was like, hey, one day I was like, screw it. I'll try doing one of these unboxing videos. Everybody loves those things. Sure enough, there's now a fan base on this channel that they watch my videos only when there's Chuck Taylor's in there. Like, that's what they love. I now have, like, there's a day where I was like, all right, let me show people how to use your cell phone as a webcam to do live videos. I made one random video on it. Now there's a fan base that follows my channel just for that kind of stuff. So I always say step outside because you'll grab people that like different things. But they then buy into you and they start to like you. They start to know who you are. And that's what gets them invested in your channel.
Right. And I'm going to tell you, Archer, man, this is, again, that's what Ground Lake is all about. So like if you go in the depth on my page, people like yourself, like this whole deal, as soon as it's over with, hey, go check out my guy, because this is your grind. This is what you do, And I know a lot of people that start out in this deal, they think it has to be all focused on me.
Yeah.
Well, we're the opposite. So whatever your grind is, hey, if you think you say, hey, for instance, you hey, look, man, I got a video coming out. Do you mind posting this on your page? Of course. Go check out my guy here. Yeah, because it's a part of the grind. It's a part of the legacy. All this stuff is what makes Grind Legacy,
Was that intentional? Wait. Was that intentional when you were like, it's part of the grind, it's part of legacy, or did that just kind of happen?
It just gotta happen. It gotta happen. Right.
Wait.
So, but one of the things we did. But one of the things that I'm getting ready to do is I'm getting ready to drop some new merch and things like that. But one of the hashtags or one of the things I've been living by lately is live the legacy, right? So we all get caught up in leaving a legacy, but what happens in between,
Yeah.
right? So my thing is, it'll be bomb for your kids to look back years from now and stumble across your YouTube page and like, man, my dad loved comic books. My dad loved this. My dad loved that. He did a review on Marvel. He did a review on this. Now you look like the cool guy now versus just my dad, you know. But that's a part of it. Let's learn how to live the legacy. Be intentional with what we're doing. You know, you didn't stumble upon creating a YouTube channel. You felt the conviction and you made it happen. But all this is a part of it. Even if it's your day-to-day job, everything has its place and purpose in your life, you know, to where you can feed to someone else. So for me, when I say live the legacy, I don't want to just talk it. You know, if I'm saying like I created a brand, well, what does that look like? I know I need to show you how that happened. So if you go back, and it was intentional, if you go back and look at my Instagram page at the very beginning, man, I was taking pictures of the phone quality was terrible, but I was like, I wanted people to see the growth in everything I was doing, you know. And I mean, at some point, man, I thought it was real cool to keep putting like tags on all the images. I had a friend of mine who was like, dude, we can't see the clothing. Like, you got so much stuff going on.
Yeah.
I was like, let me put music with it, you know. But all that is a part of growth. All that is part of living the legacy.
Yeah.
You know, so another plug. So be looking for those shirts, live the legacy, you know, merch. So, but yeah.
That's another. And Mike actually just plugged your shit in the comments. He said the new line is fire. Get your credit card ready. But
that's right. That's right.
But we are coming up on 3 minutes left. An hour has already passed. Okay. Crazy.
Definitely to get all of the stuff I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about Mandalorian. Are you a Star Wars? Are you a Star Trek guy?
Yep.
You know,
so remember, again, for those of you also who want to do your own live content and stuff, when you're talking to somebody who's going to be a guest on your show, a lot of times it's common to discuss ahead of time, like, hey, we're going to talk about X, Y, and Z. Also, hello, Grady. I saw you in the comments there. Good to see you. A lot of times, you know, you want to talk about, all right, we're going to cover these topics and do whatever it is. One of the things I love about the way that this channel runs is we rarely do that. And you actually, like, Dwight had actually asked me, like, hey, what do you want to talk about? And I was like, I don't like having an outline, because we'll have the outline. Right. It's not going to happen. Because especially if there's a connection, like, yeah, if we were just two randos who like, hey, let's talk about how to start a shirt company. And you're like, so to make a shirt company, blah, blah, blah. But you weren't here because you wanted to be here. You were here because you're just an advertisement. Like, that's where you'll see, like, there's an outline, we follow, blah, blah, blah. But something we do here on the channel is it's more of an organic, you're here because I wanted you here, but you're here because you want to be here. And it's one of those where you wanted to be part of this community, and I want my community to be part of your community. So that's why we kind of... It actually, that whole thing even sparked another series that I do here. It's called Rambling. And it sparked from my friend Anthony saying, hey, can I do an episode with you about blank? And I go, okay. And every video started with, hey, welcome to HeyArcher, blah, blah, blah. Today we're talking about this. And that came up never in any of the shows. So that's its own, like, kind of series there. But actually, why don't you tell everybody where they can find you and how they can join the legacy?
Perfect. Well, guys, hey, look, if you're interested in anything that Grind Legacy does or anything that sparked any interest, you can follow us at grind_legacy on Instagram, Legacy Grind on Twitter, and grindlegacy.com is the website. We were revamping the website because we talked about it. I appreciate you, Aaron. And but we're shifting gears a little bit on the website. So we're revamping it to add more content versus just apparel, because I really believe in the content would lead to sales of the apparel. But we just want to be able to feed into people. So if you go to groundlegacy.com right now and sign up for our email list, you get some awesome perks there. Also, you get a discount on any new merch. Here's one of our new shirts right here. It's this is a navy blue grind shirt. Archer, if you could come up with something real quick, man, to something we can do to probably get a guy or a gal to win a shirt real quick, we can do that. That's totally compliments of Grind Legacy. I'll ship it out. It's totally free, but we can ask a question or anything. We'll do a number search, but yeah, groundlegacy.com is where you can find us. So,
I mean, that'll be another easy one that if all of you make sure to subscribe to this channel, but you have to also follow Grind Legacy on Instagram, leave a comment. What we'll do, we'll post a picture, and we'll post a picture on Grind Legacy. And if you're subscribed to my channel and you comment on that picture, but also follow Grind Legacy, you are entered to win a shirt. If you happen to make your YouTube channel before we pick a winner for that, then we'll somehow incorporate that in there as well. So
right.
there are your rules.
10-4.
Subscribe to HeyArcher, follow Grind Legacy, and comment on the picture once we upload that picture.
Done.
Yeah.
Appreciate you guys.
So, and April said, Dwight, you didn't get to talk about what you intended because you ended up serving us and what we want to talk about. Welcome to the unusual world of live streaming. Give the people what they want. Yep. And you've already gotten some followers on IG as we were having this conversation.
Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you guys.
Yeah.
Hey, man, I look forward to coming on again because there's a lot I want to talk about, man.
Yeah.
So.
No, all of you, you're on the list. You're on the inner circle list where, folks like yourself, folks like Aaron. April's not been on the show, so April, if you ever want to be on the show, you let me know. But there's an inner circle list, and when you're on that list, it's you tell me when we're doing a show, and we do the show. There's no
absolutely.
There is no run around with that. But this was awesome. I actually really enjoyed it. I think that you did as well. But
oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, we will do this again for sure. And like I said, you let me know when and where, and I'll be there. But I also want to thank everybody who was in the audience. I didn't tell you about this part. I'm going to cue the ending music to roll us out, and then I'll let you know when we're over. You can hang out, so then we can talk after the show. But it's the ending for YouTube. That works.
Okay.
Actually, it's funny. I've not done a exit like this with a guest on a show. So I'm like, oh, I probably should have said that before the show started.
Nice.
But you know what? Well, let's just roll the exit. But most importantly, everybody, create whatever your gut tells you to do. Just create it, live the legacy, create your legacy. And that's one of the things that Dwight has used to propel him to where he is now. But if you want to see more Grind Legacy on IG, on Facebook, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, talk to all you nerds in the next video. Oh, wait. There's one more part as the intro or the outro plays.
More specifically, vodka, whiskey, beer, tequila, more beer, more vodka, more whiskey, and more beer.
Peace, everybody. We'll see you in the next live stream.